Hey, this is Chris from Grinding Gear Games.
And this is Jonathan from Grinding Gear Games.
So this week we're going to be showing you the 094 version of Path of Exile. Basically we're playing this on our internal staging server, and it's going to make its way onto the beta test servers in about 2 days from now. This is a relatively final copy. I guess we're using this as an opportunity to do final playtesting as well as to show you some of the changes and just, keep playing the characters we were playing last week for another hour or so. So I'll log into Chris Marauder. The first thing you'll notice, I guess, is that we've revamped this cargo hold scene a little bit.
It actually looks a lot different in 095. This is kind of halfway there. There's kind of going to be guys sort of lying on those shelves and so on, kind of, they're prisoners, obviously.
Yeah, there's the quartermaster who talks to you if you create a character. You'll be able to see that in-game in a couple of days. So the first thing you notice when you log into a 094 character is that we've reset all the passive skills. And we've done this because we made substantial changes to the tree. And it's worth noting that this is something we do relatively rarely during the beta, and it's best if you get your character's passives reallocated correctly when you do so. So we put up a warning here explaining that we've changed how the requirements work a little bit, and for some characters this may mean a little bit more thinking has to go into how they're going to get the requirements they need. So an example is, if I look at my character now, I don't meet, for example, the intelligence that this gem required. This mace here, of course, requires a substantial amount of strength that I don't have. Because my guy is relatively low level, it's pretty easy for me to get these values. When I go to the passive tree, I see that all my points have been reset, and I can see at the top I've got 11 to allocate, and thankfully I only need to get a small amount of strength and intelligence. Some of the high-level characters using high-level stuff may have much larger numbers here, so just make sure to check them out before you allocate the points. So we have these Keystone Passives on the tree, which you can see. They have a special symbol around them, so you can find them. And don't just make a beeline straight for one of those without looking at the requirements that you need. It means when you plan your character, you're going to have to think about both things. But basically, these keystones do relatively impactful effects on your character. Do you have any favourite ones you want to talk about?
I don't know. I mean, one of the biggest changes is obviously blood magic. So that allows you to spend your life instead of mana skills. Now, some people think that it converts your mana to life, but it doesn't. It just simply removes it. So it may not be as broken as it originally seems. But because you have generally more life than mana, there's quite a lot that allows you to do. And of course, you can just forego all of your plus mana items in order to get plus health ones instead, which is that can be very good for certain builds. So that changes up the gameplay quite a lot for those characters.
Yeah, a character that's using blood magic finds that it has very different priorities than a normal character, and this is quite cool. It's like another class, basically, that you can play as a blood magic guy.
Yeah, we really wanted to have a kind of trade-off for almost every of these Keystone Passives. There are a few that don't have a negative, and where the disadvantage is kind of that you have to sort of get to where they are.
And that they help your party members.
Yeah, well in this case, yeah, this just helps your party members. But for the most part, we kind of try to design them to not be completely obvious whether or not you'd want to take them. X-Master is one of those ones where it's just purely advantage.
Yeah, in this case a small advantage.
But for example here, Eldritch Battery converts all energy shield to mana. That one there, you've got to be very, very careful about because obviously you're very, very vulnerable, but then you get a huge amount of mana. So I mean that kind of thing. You've got to be pretty careful when you take them that they're not going to be actually something that ends up making your character worse. Because it's a pretty big change in a lot of cases. And there's only 12 of these on the tree right now, but we plan on having a lot more in the future.
Yeah, we have some neat designs.
Yeah, some neat designs for some stuff. These are the ones that were kind of easier for us to implement. So that's kind of why we've done them first. But there are a lot of different interesting things that we're planning on doing at some point.
Yeah, it's very likely these will move around a lot. And
yeah, I mean right now they're a little bit uneven because they just happen to be the ones that we chose. But hopefully we'll be adding quite a few more of these as the patches roll out.
An example of where it could be useful, I mean, this Resolute Technique one is relatively near to my Marauder start position here, so I could decide on this character long term. If I was going to go for that, obviously it means I can completely forego any accuracy.
And critical strikes.
Yes, exactly, because they wouldn't be useful to me. But it means that if I just built pure damage, this makes things a lot simpler. Having said that, I want to be able to get critical strikes, so it's unlikely that I'll choose this one on this particular character. So I've got to reallocate my points so that we can start playing, and obviously I'll get the easy damage ones. Now, I was going two-handed on this character, so that means I can pick up some of the easy two-handed ones.
Make sure you get your attributes.
That's right. So I need some intelligence to use this Fireball gem. Sorry, Firestorm gem. To be honest, I mean, I just had it in there as a joke, so I'm going to rip it out and get it later on if I need it. that means I can focus on strength on this guy. I do need to get some strength so I can actually use more items. And I'm sure that I'm going to require, like, if I find a better maul, it's going to need more strength as well, so I have no problem getting a few points of that, knowing that it will be useful. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's given me a few extra points of strength, which of course increases my damage and life.
If I were you, I probably wouldn't have gone that way with the strength, because you'll notice that there's some strength attributes just below where you went with the melee damage, and you might have been able to get around some there.
Yeah, maybe.
A little bit more thought could be good.
Yeah,
But,
I don't mind going down here.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, so where were we when we...
We just got the Prisoner's Gateway.
The Prisoner's Gate? Right. Oh wait, you know what we forgot to do?
What's that?
Party up.
Oh, okay. Alrighty, so my character name is Chris Marauder.
Chris...
Okay, I'm gonna come to you.
Alright, just use the instance management from back at the shore.
So I don't know how many of you guys know about this, but it tells me here there are 2 instances of the Prisoner's Gate, and I can also create a new one. So the first instance is empty, because that's the one I was just in, and that expires in about 15 minutes. Whereas the other one is where Ranger DF, Jonathan's character, is. I'm going to join that one.
Alright.
So we can continue playing where we left off.
Remember not to click so much this time.
Oh, that's right. I'm going to try to make an effort to hold down to move. Now, one thing you'll notice immediately, hopefully, is that my Marauder's killing stuff a lot faster than last time. Nothing has changed with my items, except now that we're using 094, I have the benefit of the new balance. And one of the things we did was just make items, weapons that is, relatively more powerful.
It's funny, because the way that we did that was actually not just to directly increase the damage values on weapons.
Yeah, we were happy with how high those were, but we wanted them to have more of a relative effect.
Is that Warhammer any good for you?
It's one-handed, and I just did
okay, sorry, one-handed.
Yeah. So basically we reduce the life of the monsters and reduce the damage of non-weapon things. Now, it's worth pointing out this doesn't mean that witches do less damage.
Relative to the monster's life.
Yeah, I mean they still kill the monsters in the same number of hits, so hopefully they'll be having just as much fun as before, but now Marauders like me will find it less frustrating.
Yeah. One of the things our lead artist is especially worried about is that he doesn't want the numbers to get too high. Like it doesn't really, in some ways it doesn't really matter what the numbers are so long as everything is relatively the same. But we don't really want you to have like, 100,000 life. We'd rather the numbers were kind of smaller. The problem is that if you make them too small then you lose granularity, so that if you get like a 5% increase to something, it doesn't actually really have any effect because you have, if you've only got a very small amount of something, then a 5% increase isn't going to be seen. So in order to make the early game okay, with regard to percentage increases, we sort of settled on the values that we have now.
Yeah. The reason why Eric's so interested in this is he's played a lot of other action RPGs, and he's seen how confusing it is when you get these giant inflated values.
Well, you get these, typically at the end game of a lot of different games, you start to get just completely ridiculous numbers. So we don't want to start too early with that kind of thing because it could get out of hand.
I'm definitely finding I can kill the monsters in less hits.
Hopefully. I still think I need a better bow, to be honest.
What are you using at the moment?
What have I got? I've got a... Carrion Blast.
Nice.
Carrion Blast, which is a composite bow. So I think, is that actually the correct bow for this level?
I'm not sure, sorry. What's the required level on it?
10, so...
And you're 11.
So it's actually not that far off.
You can always do with a better bow, though.
Sure, you can always do with a better bow. I understand that you split out the accuracy bow passives from the damage ones.
Yeah, we did that because people were just getting accuracy for free, and there was no choice that went into it, really. Now you have a choice, more damage or accuracy.
Oh.
We've actually raised the mana cost of some of the early melee skills, but then flattened them off a lot at higher levels. So it means that rather than being able to use Infernal Blow completely at will without any mana issues like I was doing to some extent last time, now it's a little harder, but later on mana isn't so much of a problem for the Marauder. Unless you build some kind of uber chain of support gems together. The burning goodness.
Sorry.
You lost your cursor or something?
Yes, I lost my cursor.
Okay, so you're just standing here. can't blame lag when the server's 8 meters away, right?
Right.
People have actually commented on this thing here, where you see how there's a white outline of the shadow, and you can kind of see it if I put my character shadow. There's a bit of a white outline here. People think it's a bug and it gets reported a lot, but it's actually a side effect of the way we're doing shadows.
Well, yeah, that type of shadows is called variance shadow mapping, and it has this thing called light bleeding that occurs when you have one shadow hitting on another. It's generally not that noticeable, and we prefer the effect that variance shadow maps get us, which is like quite nice, like soft edges to our shadows that are relatively cheap to render. So that's kind of why we use that shadow method. In a lot of games that have very high, what they call depth complexity, which is where you've got things that are very close to the camera and things that are very far away. It can be a huge problem for those types of games, but for a game like ours that is top down, it actually works pretty well because there's not very many situations where that kind of artifact occurs.
Yeah. So we appreciate the bug reports, but we know of that one.
Yeah, my understanding is there's a few techniques we can use to reduce that aren't implemented yet, but I haven't actually worked on the graphics stuff for quite a while now, and it's something that I'll be looking into pretty soon. So I don't know if you've got a gem that's leveled up there, Chris?
Hey, you're right, and I didn't notice.
Yeah,
but I
probably shows you that we need to make those icons brighter.
Yeah, so down here there's a notification saying that my sweep gem has hit a new level. This basically means that if I look at the gem itself, it's setting at the maximum experience of the previous level, and I now get a choice of whether I can level it up. In this case I will do. And we're trying to make sure that this actually shows people that they have gems that can be leveled. We've put notifications down here, but as you can see it's relatively easy to miss them unless you're paying attention.
Basically, people were complaining about the fact that there were cases where they didn't want to have their gem level up because it either increased the mana to something that they didn't want to have to cast, or they knew they weren't going to have the requirements after they de-equipped some other item or some other situation like that.
Yeah.
So because of that, we want to give people a choice to level up. And the other reason is because it's a bit more meaningful. Like before, if a gem leveled up, it's easy sort of not to notice that it was happening, and so to not really understand the system very well. If you have to level it up manually, it's a lot more meaningful. Like you see that it's leveled up, and now it's like I have to click this thing to actually do it.
It gives you more of the consciously leveling things up feeling.
Do you know when I can get Rain of Arrows, by the way?
Was it a Brutus reward?
It might be, actually. Do you know where the waypoint is?
It's up here. Remember how we were looking for that in the last competition?
Yes, in the ladder rush last week.
We
spent quite a while. In fact, it probably contributed to us losing our first place on the ladder. I think when we entered this area, we might have been in the lead.
Yeah.
Here's the waypoint here.
Oh, nice.
I'm just going to go back to town and get my reward.
So one of our priorities is going to be finding a way to make both the notification of skill gems being ready to level and also this passive skill point that's been bugging me for a while. Those are going to be larger, more noticeable, basically just glowing in your face so it's hard to miss them.
I actually don't really have any items with sockets that can use. I have to downgrade one of my items to get sockets.
You do have a...
Oh, I've got a... No, I don't.
Right?
I don't actually.
I'm sure I can find you
I've
something.
got a fusing orb, but not a...
Here's a chromatic orb. We need to leave town for me to give it to you. Let's go to the ship graveyard. Good luck on the roll.
My bow actually doesn't have any green sockets at all. Chromatic orb. Yay! Okay, so I got a green now, and so that means I could use my Rain of Arrows.
If you need some flasks, I've got some spares here.
Yeah, that's actually probably pretty damn good. Large mana flask? Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of using minor ones. Man, I'm using so much junk. Look at this plate vest. It's like literally a level 1 item. I could pick up any of the mammoth plates or whatever that have been dropping and use it. Okay, 67 life regen. Well, why don't we just put some mods on it? Bang. Cast speed. How useful. I'm going to re-roll that. Not so good. Augment. Reroll. Okay, it'll do.
Not so awesome.
That's a direct upgrade there. Do you want a life ring?
What have I got? I've got a mana ring. Yeah. I've got physical damage on. I've got an iron ring at the moment, so I'm kind of keen to keep the damage since I'm feeling a little light at the moment.
Okay.
Although Rain of Arrows should help quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a good skill. I'm just going to quickly refill my flasks on this waypoint.
Right. We just go back to town? Alright, we're changing flasks.
Yeah, I changed flasks out of town.
One of the things we need to do is make it so that rather than just going back to town, you have to talk to the healer to refill your flask and life. Just because we kind of want it to not be like a kind of instant, you just go back to town and immediately back out again. You know, it's much nicer thematically to actually have to visit the healer to do that.
And it adds an opportunity cost, so you can't just quickly use the top portal scroll in 1 second to be back.
Right.
Hey, it's Fairgraves. He's going to tell us to find this slave girl who has the Orflame.
Yeah. I'm not really sure who the healer would be in an Act 2 town.
That's a good question.
Maybe
Maybe Yena?
Yena? Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. Eric probably has a good idea of what he wanted to do for that.
I'm sure he's planned that.
Yeah, but
This guy has the major damage increase order. Thankfully, no guys around.
yeah.
So now you'll notice, for example, if I find a caster robe, it requires 38 intelligence. I just can't equip that, whereas previously it would basically let me for free. We really wanted to make the requirements game a lot stronger, to actually make a game out of the requirements system.
Yeah, it was kind of a, like, this is a bit tricky for us because we do want to promote freedom of being able to use, you know, the items from any class, but we just kind of want you to have to put a bit of, at least a token effort.
But there are lots of ways to get attributes.
Yeah, there are lots of ways to get attributes. So basically, if you want to do something, then you can generally, you know, either use the passive tree in a slightly different way, or use items to supplement
Those gloves might be good for them.
deerskin gloves.
They sound dexish.
They do.
Hey, there's another gem level up notification that I hopefully didn't leave for too long.
Yeah, we probably need to make those brighter or something. We probably need to even try and get that in before the next patch.
Yeah.
Before the, you know, before 0.4 goes out.
We can probably just hotfix it on the day. I'll talk to Harry on Monday. Hey, a phone stuff. It's not a mall, but I haven't committed to malls yet, so...
You've just committed to two-hand?
Yeah, which is nice, because it means I don't have to... So what does this do? My DPS goes down by a lot. Okay. Let's say no.
So one of the things Chris was pretty proud of was his designs that he came up with for his level 1 DPS character for the competition.
Yeah, we shouldn't give away what it involves.
Yeah, we're not going to give away what it involves, but he basically sort of theory crafted the best build he could think of.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting.
I don't know of a better build. Though it was done with a little bit of 094's balance in play.
That's true.
So I don't know how exactly comparable the DPS is.
Oh, it should be pretty close.
It's high though.
Much higher than anything anyone on the forums has.
Well, I was using cheats to reroll the items.
Yeah, but I mean in terms of the theoretical maximum is surprisingly high, put it that way.
Yeah. But that's cool. We don't want to dissuade people from trying their characters. It's already hard enough to build them.
It's kind of interesting. We sort of expected that there are a few people there who are not really valuing the mirror, which is interesting because the value of the mirror is as high as the highest item can be, like, because you can just dupe whatever the highest rarity thing is with the mirror, if you have one.
So it only gets more valuable.
Yeah, so it only gets more as the economy gets better. But the funny thing is that, you know, like, we would sort of hope that people would recognise the fact that it is ultimately the best possible item to have in a game like this.
And maybe that an Exalted Orb is more useful in actually improving your character.
Potentially. I guess one of the things is, you know, you have to actually find a guy to get an item off. I sort of hope that there will be trades that involve allowing people to use, you know, the item that they have, as well as having to give something else to them.
Yeah. Where the trade window would support the ability to...
Well, we could do that. I mean, they have that kind of thing in World of Warcraft, right? Where you can... the trade window supports applying a...
like lockpicking and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we could do that.
I like the arrows going past my camera. Remember, this is hardcore, just in case you accidentally get close to
Yeah, I'll try and be aware of that.
I always forget. Just like I'd forgotten there was a passive point, and so had you. I'm gonna get some decks. I need it for this, I think, better item. Yeah, that's a lot more DPS. Now I'm going to reroll it. Please don't let the level go up. A small amount of accuracy and cold damage is okay.
What's the DPS on your character first?
On this character here is 78.8.
Okay, I'm only like about 50.
I just got a new weapon that brought me from 50 up.
This is something I can really... I don't have any particular optimization opportunities at the moment.
Do you have many currency items available?
Nah, not really. You steal them all, right?
That's what people in the comments seem to say.
Yeah.
We're looking for the All-Flame, right?
I believe we are.
Okay, well we should go up there. I mean, in the random direction we would need to go.
Well, it's generally. I think it's generally along the somewhere along the wall on the back
Yeah.
of the level.
It's kind of tough because we could have this area be 100% random, as in you have no idea where the exit is. That would be very easy with our system, but then it doesn't follow the coastline that is consistent with the world map.
Yeah. Yeah, the levels are kind of like we kind of wanted to have controlled randomness, as in you kind of vaguely know what's going to be on the level, but
hopefully not where.
Hopefully not exactly where. And
remember to get your All-Flame.
oh yeah.
The Fairgrouse fight is actually relatively hard, which is good. I mean, eventually we'll have all of the optional boss fights be pretty horrible, which is nice. I mean, horrible in a difficult point of view.
Alright.
Chromatic Orb.
Really?
Yep. Remind me to get leaps now.
Yeah. Yeah, useful.
It's interesting, the reason why we have those green skeletons walking around rarely is that it forces the engine to preload them so that it doesn't lag when they appear in the fights that we're about to do.
One of the things that's really surprising is how bad people's hard drive performance is.
I know.
It's really like people seem to have terrible hard drives. So loading absolutely anything off them during gameplay just completely kills performance.
Yeah, I mean, my development machine here is a solid state drive, so I'll measure like, you know, a 50th of a second to load something, and then an actual person in the wild gets over a second because they've got 3 virus checkers installed and their hard drive's fragmented, and it's made in 2002 and failing, and they're uploading at the same time.
Even doing it in a thread, still pretty damn slow.
Yeah, I was very surprised. So we just preload everything. That's one of those things that when we get time to sort out, I'm sure we can come up with a more intelligent way.
Okay.
To the coves.
Coves.
I see things in the commit history like added more tar to the tar zombies. I don't know if that's in 094 or if it's in 095. Though we may see tar on the tar zombies.
I believe there's a side area for this area coming pretty soon, isn't there?
Yeah.
So,
and there's one for the graveyard as well planned.
Right. Yeah, I believe there's going to be some kind of I think it's a reskin of the cave tile set to kind of look like a sort of tar covered, sort of tar pit thing.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I believe there's supposed to be some kind of boss in there.
Yeah. Well, we like giving up passive skill points with that kind of thing.
Right.
And eventually some single point respec points, so that people can fix mistakes.
Yeah, that'll be real handy if you take one of the Keystone Passives that you find out actually you don't like.
Yeah.
Since there is such a big difference. I might just hold on to that composite bow there just in case I get something useful to upgrade it with.
Do you want this transmute?
Yes, actually.
Hey, I exploded the guy so that he doesn't transform.
Nah, it was crap.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the things that, one bug that there is currently is that if you cause a shield crab to shatter or explode or something like that, then it won't actually drop any items. Which is a bug that we're intending to fix, but yeah. It's kind of funny because we kind of see destroying the shield crab before it turns into a sand splitter as kind of an advanced thing. Well, not really advanced, but like it's a tactic to take.
Yeah.
But it actually hurts you with items, which is kind of a shame. So yeah, we'll be fixing it too.
People find the sand splitters a lot more frustrating than we initially thought.
Well, yeah, I mean that's just the main reason for that is because they have to sort of change targets halfway through the fight with it. So there's kind of some vague plan at some point to change it so that the sand splitter is the same entity as the shield crab, but currently the shield crab sort of dies and the sand splitter is a new thing that we spawn in the same place where it was.
Yeah, I've just noticed when I target the tar zombies,
yes, they got a blue outline. It's probably because there's some kind of effect being applied to them that Russell added. One of the things that we need to do is currently if you have two effects being applied on the same monster, then the effect of one will apply on top of the effect of the other in a way that kind of looks bad sometimes. You'll just notice especially that happens when you mouse over a monster that has that's on fire. The outside to the fire effect will actually disappear. It's something I've been intending to fix for a while, but haven't got around to it yet. As I said, I've been kind of working on things other than graphics for quite a while now. Mostly just service quality stuff. Because as we've scaled up the beta, suddenly new problems you can notice appear.
Your 095 stuff is looking promising.
Yeah, so 095, the primary thing is sell vendors.
That's vendors that you sell to.
Sell to, yeah. I mean, they should probably be called trade vendors because you're not actually selling things for gold. Instead, you're selling things to get currency.
Yeah, it's a bartering thing.
It's a bartering thing.
There's recipes.
The interface for it is actually the same as what trade will be, because trade will kind of work the same. It's just that with an NPC, when you put items in the window, they've always got something to trade for it. And
we talk about that in the beta manifesto a little bit with a couple of relatively old examples of recipes.
Yeah, well, I mean, a sort of quintessential example of this kind of thing would be if you find a 20 quality item on the ground. If you trade it in to an NPC, they'll give you the quality upgrade item for that type. So if you find a 20 quality flask, even if you don't intend to use that flask, you can trade it in to get a quality upgrade.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of wanting to try and promote, players sort of know the valuable things to look for on the ground because they're worth specific things in trade with an NPC. As well as quite a few random recipes arbitrary recipes that players will sort of find out over time. So we're only going to actually talk about some of the recipes and sort of have them online. We want the players to find out the rest.
And they'll share them pretty fast.
Yeah, they'll share them pretty fast, I'm sure. But it'll be interesting to sort of see how that works out, like what recipes people find and what don't. We have to sort of drop some hints for some of the more complicated ones. But yeah, there should be a recipe, I believe, for every type of currency item. There's is my understanding that that's the goal, right?
Yeah, they're generally pretty
Pretty onerous.
yeah,
Some of the high
pretty
ones.
lossy recipes, I guess
Yeah.
you could say. As in, it's a way of getting it, but it may be better to trade with a player to do the same thing.
Right.
And it's also an interesting yardstick where you can say, well, the NPC would give me 3 of this for it, so can you beat it? The Cavern of Wonage.
Wonage.
I'm going to use the waypoint to get some passive points in town.
True.
I think Bear still has something for me.
Yeah, people will probably be making quite a few more town trips. Well, I mean, they don't have to, but if they, you know, to trade for good stuff.
I've run out of red sockets. Restrike, sweep, and fatal blow. Which do I not want to use? Chromatic orb. Red socket. Haha. It's great when it just works. I'm just destroying my rares now because we don't have the shops yet.
Right.
Probably should keep them for, you know, the video in a couple of weeks.
So one of the things people don't often notice about this level is that there's actually a river that goes from one side of it to the other, and the random generator kind of weaves the river through, you know, using a set of rooms that sort of have rivers going in one side and not the other. It was kind of complicated tech to write, so hopefully people appreciate it. Which actually allows us to do a variety of effects that are similar in code, but actually they may not seem similar to the players. Like, for
Like the
example,
blood trail?
yeah, the blood trail in Bruce's level is actually done using the same tech as the river in this cave.
I really want the guys to see the new British stuff because it
Yeah.
looks so much nicer now.
The new British stuff does look nice, but they'll see it when they play. Yeah, you don't have to show it now. There's actually a big upgrade planned for Brutus, so, you know, at some point in the future. So hopefully that stuff will get them eventually.
Cavern skittles. I remember, like, we need another monster for this cave. Why don't we throw a spider in? Okay, but remove it within a few weeks. A year goes by.
Well, I don't know. The spiders are fine in here. They're sort of small, right?
I dare not remove them. They'll be like a 5-page thread. Some of the placeholder monsters are actually getting removed from the waterfall caves in 095
Right.
for those special new skeletons and other monsters that you see.
Ah, yes. Is there anything that we haven't shown yet for 095 in terms of monsters?
Oh, do you mean in 094?
Oh, or 094.
Well, the 095 stuff isn't really enough yet. It's kind of a half-done thing. What changed with monsters to 094? Oh, they were the skeletons in the Cathedral of Bone.
Yeah, those look really nice now.
The glowing hands. You know, I could just spawn one. And then
If
it
you
would
could.
kill us.
Yeah, probably, actually.
Do you know what they're called?
I have no idea. Sorry.
Do you want to, like, load the config editor on your
No,
screen?
I'm fine. Yeah. They do look pretty awesome, though. Look out for them.
What is it going to be called?
Like some artillery support from back here.
See, I'm keen now.
Alright, second level. So this level has the
The Whispers.
yeah, the whispers of the people. That one was kind of interesting because when we were filming the witch video, we had the voice actor just sort of do some extra whispers. But it's kind of embarrassing to ask some random girl,
Yeah.
okay, we want you to whisper in a seductive way.
Yeah, not seductive enough.
You're
Again,
not seductive enough.
we're
Yeah.
in a room full of guys.
Yeah. Ashen Buccaneers.
Okay. I'm honestly on my laptop at the same time as playing, trying to find out the name
Yeah,
of
Chris, just drop it. Maybe we'll see them. We'll get to them in, you know, next week's video.
wouldn't it be awesome?
It's fine. Just drop it.
Hey, it spiked more. That has the potential to be better. If I get lucky. Was that lucky enough? No.
What's your current mace? Like, what does it have in it?
It has cold damage and accuracy.
That's just blood?
Yeah.
Technically, I have a rare bow, but the mod's pretty crap.
Okay, I was going to say it's either rare or it's not, you know.
Well, yeah.
Hey, Woodfall stuff. So there's a story with this.
Oh, right. Well, Woodfall's my middle name, so Eric just decided to, have a bit of fun there. But the staff actually, the staff actually looks like a real staff that I have, that I bought quite a long time ago.
See, some companies go and commission these intricate models of things that they have in game, whereas we just get the game models after things that are lying around in the office.
Well, the staff is actually showing quite a lot of use when you, if you want to demonstrate an animation to someone, just pick up the staff and swing it around a bit.
Ow. Mervale is going to own us.
Well, we're level 15, that's not so bad.
I think she's level 16, judging by this monster level thing.
Yep.
I'm going to put my passive point in first. In fact, 3 passive points. How's that for forgetting about one?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, we're going to make that icon better, so that you actually notice it.
That's good life. I mean, we are playing hardcore.
That is true.
Where did you go? All the way up to her?
Not quite yet, no.
Okay. Should probably wait for me.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
She packs a bit of a punch with those fireballs.
I don't think we're going to have too much trouble with that. We're not really underleveled. I mean, when we got here in the rush, I think we were level... What would it have been?
Yeah, but I was playing a witch then, and that was 093 bombs.
Haha!
Ow!
Now you're a marauder, and you see you've got the damage boost.
Ow!
It's all good. Alright.
More phases. I'm just gonna get out of the way.
It's not so bad.
The second phase is a lot easier.
I didn't even lose any life during that.
Oh, I was taking some fire.
Yeah.
I'm relatively happy with how that fight goes, though, in terms of difficulty. Like, it's nice that it's hard.
Oh, it wasn't hard for me. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so we have a bit.
Wait, a short bow? No, it's not going to be better than composite, is it?
We definitely have plans to improve the drops of the axe bosses.
As soon as they're not quite so farmable.
Okay, sledgehammer, that's the next one. Yeah, basically, once we make it so that you can't just repeat the level at 30-second intervals.
Alright. Remora's spiked Maul of Ire. How long have we been going?
I have no way of telling. But now we're in Act 2.
Didn't note down the time?
Nah.
Well, I mean, we could... that's the second half of Act 1. We'll just get to town and
yeah, let's get to town.
Call it a day, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was the first sort of forest test level that we made, I believe.
It looks a lot nicer.
It looks
now,
a lot nicer
with
now.
These
Yeah.
crisis
trees, as we refer to them. Is that green tang any good for you?
No. When I hit level 16, I've got an awesome weapon coming up. Well, by awesome, I mean a higher base type.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's amazing how much better Act 2 looks than Act 1 now. We actually need to go back and...
There are some nice places in Act 1.
There are some nice...
The prison
especially, yeah. I mean, the prison and caves I'm totally happy with, but the beach we need to make look a bit better.
Yeah, well, there are some changes in 095,
right.
on our local builds.
The main thing actually is the ocean water, which doesn't look good enough. Like, it was kind of made, mostly by me actually. I mean, Eric made the textures, but it was kind of a test thing, and it sort of lasted until this day. And so there's a lot of tech improvements that need to go into making it look better. And then I think that'll spice up the beach quite a lot. As well as just like some random things, like for example, when you walk in the water it should splash, and just random little polish things that I think will make the beach just seem more beachy. But you know, I'm actually really happy with how the forest turned out. Like, it seems pretty foresty.
Act 3 is coming along well.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, can't really talk about that yet, but
it's
yeah, I
looking
mean,
nice.
it looks so nice. Like some of the stuff in Act 3, you know, I think it'll be even nicer than Act 2 when we're done with it.
That's the thing about time, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we're getting better, right, at making stuff like.
Well, the artists are. I just stayed awesome.
Oh right, yeah, okay. So what you're saying is that the balance is not improved at all then?
Why? I think Carl should do that now.
Oh right, okay, so you just hired someone else.
They're yelling at people until the work is done is about the same.
Okay.
I mean, once you reach a certain speed of copying revision numbers into a spreadsheet, it kind of doesn't go anywhere from there.
There's a lot of that.
I can't argue on the front 20% faster than last year, though.
Okay, well that's always a good skill.
Yeah. I got caught in some relatively long threads yesterday.
Yeah, well, some people say that it's not a good idea to, you know, to argue in threads like that, but the problem is that we do actually want to kind of interact with our community. Like, we want them to actually know that we are caring about what they're talking about.
We definitely spend a lot of time valuing their opinions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's very easy to kind of, you know, you see some opinion you don't like and kind of say, oh, yeah, that guy's just an idiot. But in reality, all of the opinions that people express are expressed for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, there's always something they didn't like, even if they're actually wrong about what it is. Whoa. Even if they're wrong about what, you know, what it is they think would fix it, they're generally, at least, there is a valid problem that they have.
That's true. I'm very interested to see what they think of 094 actually. I mean, it's great that they're giving us feedback on the patch notes, but hopefully the feedback on the game itself.
Yeah, well, it's funny because, you know, like, it's easy to read patch notes and sort of think, well, this sounds like it sucks, but when you actually play it, it's a lot better.
Hey, there's another 094 feature we can show you. If I click on this guy to get a quest, it says stop the banditers from attacking the town using the new quest notification art.
Okay. Chris is very proud of that art.
I didn't have anything to do with it. I was literally surprised one evening when we were
Yeah,
showing
but
the
it does
game to
look-
that guy.
It does look pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, thank you very much for watching our playthrough. I mean, hopefully you haven't got too bored by this point.
Yeah, we'll do plenty more hopefully. We got a pretty good reception from the last one.
Yeah, so we'll probably try and do it once a week, hopefully showing off any kind of new stuff that we're doing.
Good way to spend a Saturday afternoon encoding video.
Okay.
Okay, well thanks very much guys.
Okay.
Right,
Bye.
see you later.